The Toilsome Twosome by Unique. Exactly 33 years after the king's first breath, Kelly and her mother's eyes first met. Suddenly she's rocking Krakow University, composing heart melodies with creativity. Soon, Daddy decreed Poland be quarantined, 'cause Casimir gets what Casimir wants. What a great guy, 'cause of plagues that he stops. An escape hatched from her slumbering dreams for constructing a lofty eagle feather-winged glider that led her off the edge of Wawel's tallest tower, where she vanished silent in flight that moonless midnight hour. She touched down far beyond the suppressing city walls, and by noon had traveled over 60 miles. She snuck quiet and cool with goods stashed in her cloak, a dagger, some gold, flint, arrows, and a bow. She hunted, she gathered, she foraged, she cooked. The wilderness was hers, everywhere she looked. But she longed for songs, missing melodic rhythms. Isolation conjured in her an inner cynicism. Traveling north, she sought minstrels in the kingdom of Novgorod. No one parties like Barties, those creative, clever lot. The path led her to a strangely serene village, intact and undamaged, lacking any sign of pillage, where no sound echoed off thatch roof cottage streets except for droning swarms of infinite fleas. Pain and suffering were caught stiff in corpses' poses, holding horrid expressions stuck in rigor mortis. The awful, acrid stench made her cover her face. Overwhelming instinct demanded she escape. Dark, vile ooze seeped black apple-sized boils, leaking creases in deceased adults, boys, and girls. Rotting fingers clutched Bibles, rose petals, and posies, caked with black vomit dried on their clothing. Walking paths amassed pickpecking vultures, ripping flesh torn off torn-up cadavers. It nauseated her. She social distanced. Why would God's pestilence slay pious innocents who humbly served their Lord with diligence? She left the dead crowds staring into the sun. What can I do to fix what's been done? Then, a gyrfalcon dove slam a flying squirrel to the earth. The gasping rodent fumbled an acorn toward her famished child in the dirt. Kelly's arrow pinned the praying bird to a tree, who croaked alongside Mommy momentarily. The defenseless orphan wasn't yet fully grown, and Kelly wasn't going to leave her helpless and alone. She fed the little rascal berries, bugs, veggies, and nuts, and trained her in reconnaissance with special, skillful stunts. Rascal clutched an arrow as Kelly let the fletch go. Oh, twang, zing, zoom, twirl, wind, fling, flow. The airborne rodent spiraled wide, circling glides, surveying the countryside for anyone alive. The toiling twosome spotted survivors wandering out west, who they followed on a path to maybe remedy this bubonic mess. In Novgorod's near-empty port city Veliki, monks self-flagellated, whips snapping repeatedly. While the relentless distraction appeased the scant masses, the duo leapt on a sail, then slipped down its mast, hidden in a cog afloat on the Volkhov, gone with the wind in thick, silky fog. The merchant ship transported its furs and fish to Visby, but, unknowingly, the plague, October 1350. Concealed in a trunk of pelts and hides, the duo departed the dock off the boat's port side. She thieved in disguise in a wolverine fur. No one recognized the missing princess was her. She did not understand the Swedish tongue, but recognized Celtic like it was sung. 3 Scots joked at the English's expense, entering a tavern to gamble with pints full of nonsense. She approached their table directly, raising their eyebrows skeptically. Care to deal in a lady? She asked, calm and collectedly. Her gold coin blinged the table, which made plenty change. She bought a couple rounds, then started winning games. Peter, the leader, figured she was all right. My brother Blake's on my left, my lad Will's on my right. What brings a Polish girl here at this time of night? The princess relayed the details of her tale, yearning to plant seeds of solution to bloom in restitution. They looked at Kelly a moment, then huddled up. She's totally cool, right? Aye aye, yup. Blake leaned in, explaining what was up. Listen close now, lads, for our news is bad. There exists a man who is as wicked as he is made. Tres, Earl of Lee, practiced necromantic sorcery. A synthesized raw evil, growing fleas gnawing people. Alone in dark cells, cold but in hell. He spread the disease that he delivered to the Genoese. 12 infested galleys brought it back to Italy, infecting parts of Messina, surprising Sicily. Hoarding the only cure, he'll ransom humanity, feeding incessant greed with sadistic vanity. We will fight this mayonnaise every way we can. May this island make haven to protect our weest kin. Hobbling near the tavern, stumbling outside, an infested man died suddenly mid-stride, cracking on cobblestones, splitting his skull wide. There was no escape from this contagious spell. There was no safe place for good people to live well. They would have to conquer Trask in his tower over Lee, stealing the coveted cure to heal humanity. Kelly and the Scots executed a covert operation, sinking their Berlin and Chesil Bay to conceal the situation. Rascal scouted the castle turrets of Southampton's battlements, signaling the clear to execute something glamorous. They lurked in clandestine, cutting throats, felling watchmen. Disguised in armor of the recently slain, they harnessed 3 steeds in a ballista train. 3 Scots riding Clydesdales and a Polish girl besieged Lee early undercover with a flying squirrel. The tower's tip glowed in dawn's illumination. Poisoned spikes prevented a wall climb infiltration. The Toilsome team fastened a rope to the ballista's side, which they tied on a bolt for Kelly to climb. She bow-launched Rascal to survey their attack. After 5 minutes, Homegirl didn't come back. They fired the bolt on the spire's west side, which latched and attached a long-shadowed line. The horizons arose simultaneously, with battalions marching at dangling Kelly. But none of the armies noticed her climb, as they focused on the Scots buying her time. Peter's, Blake's, and Will's faces inflated with glorious glee. The English shall remember me! Great Scots! Courage shimmered invincibility. Blood sprayed waves back at attacking infantry. The heroes cut their opposition in ribboning piles, hacking blurry entrails, slicing limbs off wild. Then their army wheeled its first catapult, which the Scots immobilized with a ballista bolt. Their finite ammo cache dwindled and depleted. In mere moments they'd be vaporized, exploded, deleted. Projectiling oil barrels splashed a massive group. Friendly fire from a hay bale erupted a jetting pyre plume. Rascal fought and squirmed in an airborne giant falcon's talon. Seeing Kelly top the tower, she screamed out with abandon. Kelly loosed her second-to-last arrow, clipping Giant Falcon's ass, who squawked, compromised, releasing the squirrel out his grasp. The tail-spinning bird flapped haphazardly, caught by a masked man whose seizing henchman captured Kelly. They dragged her through corridors. They beat her, mistreated her, tried to defeat her. They hurt her, perverted her, tied her with wire, demanding she answer, slapping, striking, listen, witch, like slander. They stripped her down, locked up in despair, buzzing in her ears, biting everywhere. Forever sequestered, cold, and restrained, she succumbed to skin bumps infected with plague. Something scuffed her chains. Rascal had arrived. With squirrel training in pitch dark, she picked the locks off blind. She wasn't gonna weave this with a human all alone. Rascal led her person to her last arrow and bow. Woozy, Kelly drew her bow through the quarter of this monster's bed. Rascal bit the skin and strap, wrapping the mask onto his head. Trask's eyelids snapped alive. Double vision arrow eyes. You cry, you die. Without the cure, you die. Trask spit a bitter, rasping reply. Men cannot lead anything. What do you call a forsaken leader? A king. Walking cocks are constantly lost. It's time women take control, despite the sacrificial cost. Trask removed his mask, revealing he was actually a lady. Kelly pretended to agree to the insane misandry, following her into an alchemical lab where 3 yellow vials rested on a stone slab table. One rejuvenated Kelly, suddenly strong and stable. Trask uncorked one and started chugging hard, which muffled the gurgled scream as the arrow pierced her heart. Trask collapsed a shattered mess. Her cleavage dripped orange between bound breasts. Kelly dragged the body to the pit of fleas. With the mask, she became the Earl of Lee. They trained the giant falcon as Rascal's flying mount, delivering cures. They saved more lives than she could count.